Hi guys, and welcome to Chengisworld. Woo-hoo. It's so glad to be back. I am so sorry that I have been off grid. I am so sorry. I am struggling with consistency, and that's just simply because I have moments of crazy kind of busy, and I just can't always sort of keep up with the demands of recording, production, editing. But guys, I am going to do my best to be committed and to keep these videos rolling. But also it's important to me that I bring valuable content. And sometimes when I am on a sort of roll with a certain thought process, I can sort of keep doing that. But when I feel that I've settled that matter with my heart and in my mind, then I am weary to keep producing videos along those same lines. But I really want to do something new, guys, and I want to invite you guys to join me because I get so many amazing emails from you guys sharing your scenarios with me and what's going on. And sometimes when I am responding to those emails, I sort of wish that I could share some of these emails that you guys are sending to me with the whole community so that everybody could learn. But also I think there's something to be said about feeling like you're not alone, that somebody else is going through what you're going through and that there is a solution. So what I want to start doing on this channel is inviting you guys to write to me about anything regarding your relationships, regarding your relationships with your girlfriends, but this channel, I speak more about relationships with the opposite sex. So just write to me about your scenario, whether you're married, single, trying to get married, trying to not be married, whatever it is that you feel, and give me permission to share it with the rest of the community. That would be so good. I love your letters and I am looking forward to receiving as many of them as possible. So roll them in. So I am going to leave my email address in the description box, but I will tell you now is chengisworld@gmail.com, chengisworld@gmail.com. So send me emails, and for those of you who can get me on Instagram, which you guys do, by all means go ahead and send me a message on Instagram or my Facebook page, Chengisworld. I'm also on Twitter, currently under Chengi Pot. I think that might stay that way. We'll see. But again, you can communicate with me on any of those platforms and give me permission to share the stories that I really feel will help. And I promise not to mention your name if you don't want to. So let me know if you want me to mention your name and where you're from. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And I'm hoping that in July, it will be a time for me to really do some strawberry letters and share. And we'll call it Ask Chengi. You can call me Auntie Chengi. Ask whatever. We'll figure out what we're gonna call it. But I really want to, and challenge me a little bit. Give me your really complex situations, because sometimes I feel like I'm answering the same question over and over. So do write to me and we can share with the rest of the community. So guys, I'm really happy to be back, and this time around I'm feeling a bit lighthearted. I feel like we've had a few videos that are really deep and challenging and really, and I have something else up my sleeve that is gonna pack a punch emotionally and really sort of deal with some of the pain and hurt causing scenarios in relationships. But this particular topic that I'm working on, I am very careful to ensure that I get it right, because there's so much pain attached to this particular subject, and I want to do it over a course at least 6 weeks, because it's such a deep subject, something really truly close to my heart, and something that is wrecking relationships, and something that I believe the 21st century woman struggles to manage emotionally. So that's coming your way, and that's quite deep, but I don't want to just knock something out in that subject. I really just want to bring the best value to you guys on that subject. So whilst we're at it, I just want to to say that we're gonna just have something a little bit lighthearted, a little bit fun in the next couple of videos, and I look forward to receiving your emails. Okay, so today, hopefully this is gonna be a quick one. I'm always challenging myself to do it really quickly. Okay, so today we're gonna be talking about when you and your girlfriend like the same guy, or when one guy is kind of playing the both of you, trying to see which one. So usually guys will walk into the room and decide amongst themselves, which is really very annoying because half the time you want the guy that, you know, I remember my first ever boyfriend, I really liked his friend. But clearly they've done the whole deciding who's going to have who, and they kind of do that, don't they? Oh, okay, you have that and I'll go after that one, blah, blah, blah. I don't think his friend was very much in agreement because he kept sort of pursuing me even though I was still dating his friend. But I really just wanted the friend, but he wasn't making a move because obviously they'd made this pact or this deal. And I find guys tend to do that. They tend to walk into a room and sort of do, okay, I like her, and they sort of figure it out, and not always give the girl a chance. But sometimes a guy can want maybe one girl but might not feel like he can do it, so he might go for her friend in the hopes to get through to her. Or sometimes some guys are just greedy. Whoever jumps first is the one I'm gonna go with because maybe both of you are pretty, and let's go. You know, whoever says yes is the one that I am whose number I'm going to take. So I've been in multiple scenarios, and I'm sure all of you girls have been in scenarios where you've gone out to a do, or you are in a scenario where a guy is basically making a play on you and your friend. And I was in a scenario once, I don't know when it was, but I was out with a girlfriend of mine, and we were sort of, it was the season in our lives where we're like, you know what, we're never going to meet anyone if we just sit at home and pray. You know, we just need to get out there and go and have a bit of fun, and, you know, we'll meet somebody. But I think I'm going to do a video on that. It's very logical. It's a very logical thought process, but unfortunately, it doesn't kind of work that way all the time. So we sort of got ourselves all dolled up, and we went off to this nice place, and very sort of grown up. This was like a club, very sort of grown up and nice, sort of elegant, in Brighton. And ordinarily, you know, we don't go for the same type. We're not kind of that way inclined. But, you know, we were sitting there all night, and there was really no talent or whatever. And this guy sort of walks in, and he's really very good looking, you know, he's just like, you know. But what had happened is my friend was sitting behind me, so we're sort of sitting on a bar kind of that way, not a bar, like a table, and she was sort of sitting behind me, but we'd both sort of turned around to look forward because there must have been something going on in the front. So I didn't see, she was behind me and I was in front, and this guy looked in what I thought was my direction, and he was doing the whole, you know, whatever men do, but he was sending out the signals, and I was thinking, I was a bit like, okay, perhaps. And my friend, he came in with another friend, and there was another guy that I'd seen, and I was thinking, oh, he's quite nice. So I think my friend just assumed that because I thought I liked some other guy, or I thought that some other guy looked nice, that he was the one that I was going to be like all over all night. I don't know what happened in the communication, but it was just an observation. So she was behind me, and I did not know that when he was looking in our direction, he was actually making contact with both of us. He was actually making eyes at both of us. Oh my God, right? So I thought, so I'm doing the whole, you know, and she's obviously doing the same thing. So eventually I thought, you know what, I hate playing games. So I got up and I went to where he was, because that's how I do. No, I went to get myself a drink, and he just happened to be there, and my friend followed. And it just so happened that, well, I knew he was there, and I wanted to really create an opportunity for him to speak to me, because, and that's another thing, I think I've done a video on who should make the first move. And whilst a woman shouldn't make the first move, she should always create an opportunity for a man to speak to her. You know, you should always maneuver yourself. And I think one of my subscribers said, angle yourself. I quite like that one. Just angle yourself, just a bit of angling. Yeah, so, you know, you just have to angle yourself and position yourself in such a way that he has an opportunity to speak to you. Because sometimes the whole idea of walking across the room and having a chat with a girl, it can be like the worst possible thing for a man. So it's always good to sort of meet them a little bit halfway. So here I am. And I'm sort of near in proximity, and obviously that was a great opportunity for him. So we started chatting and laughing, and eventually we sort of just started building up a rapport, and didn't last for very long. It turns out he was married and just being silly, but we just ended up being really great friends. And I was sort of ready to go home, so we sort of went off together, and we're just having a laugh and a chat. And I didn't realize this, but at that point, I had obviously I'd stepped on my friend's toes, and I didn't realize that I had until I think we were sort of talking. I was saying, you know what, if my friend likes a guy, like if there's a choice, like there's a guy and we both like him, I would always let my friend have him. And she was like, well, not really, because that night we went out and he was looking at me, but you made the move on him. And I was like, oh my God, like, no, that's not how it was. I actually thought he was looking at me. She was like, no, he was looking at me. And I was like, oh my God, right? Now, it all's well that ends well. It wasn't the end of the world. She's very happy in a relationship, whatever. It wasn't the end of the world. But it really struck me because it was just a scenario that I want to share with you guys of what can happen. And it's happened so many times before with me. And what I wanted to say to you guys is, look, we always have that time when we have conflicting values. Do I honor my friendship with my friend, or do I and lose at a chance of actually finding true love with this new exciting person? Or do I sort of pursue this new and exciting person and lose a dear friend that I treasure? And sometimes we find ourselves in those sort of conflicting situations. So this is what I live by, and what I would probably put out there to you guys. If this is not the gospel truth, this is not thus saith the Lord in heaven, this is just my take on it. I really believe that if a man walks into the room and he is not clear about you, he doesn't walk up to you and he doesn't make it clear that he's all about you tonight, that you are the girl that he wants to take the number home and pursue a relationship with. If you feel like he's kind of here and there with your friend, my advice to you is walk away. Because here's why. If he's uncertain about what he wants and is afraid to take that risk in the beginning, I always feel as though it's gonna be, I always say to women that how a relationship starts tells you pretty much everything you need to know about the rest of the relationship. The character that a man displays to you in the beginning should tell you everything you need to know in the end. If he cannot quite, and if he's playing the game and trying to do you and a friend, ask both of you out and do all of that, he's divisive. It means he will never respect your relationships. A good man, a decent man, a high value man understands that you've come here with your friend and that there might be conflict if he doesn't choose. He's already thought ahead, and he needs to make it clear that this is the girl I'm with. You're pretty too, but she's the one who's number one to take home. And if I don't get her number, then I'm not going to be like, okay, well, I'll take yours instead. And if you're that girl who knew that he wanted my friend but took mine instead, it's never going to be a great relationship, because that friend is always going to be around, right? And she's always going to be the one that he really, really wanted, the one that really got away. How are you ever going to feel secure in that relationship? I feel like, you know, to ruin a long-term friendship that has served you over some guy you met on a night out whose character you don't know, whose history you don't know, he could be anything, is not wise. I think that I know that there are times when our friendships and the relationship we have with our men, they conflict, and sometimes we have to make that decision between the friend and a guy, and there's never a good point to make it. But you know, you can watch my video on protecting your relationships on this channel. That's a different conversation. But I think that if you find yourself in a scenario where both of you like the same guy and the same guy is making moves on both of you, I personally would walk away from that situation. I would just make the decision for him, because I'm not going to be an option. If there's nothing about me that differentiates me from my friend, that you just have to have me, that I just don't want that guy in my life. I'm always looking futuristically. I'm looking for somebody to marry. I'm looking for somebody to keep for the long term. And I don't want somebody who wasn't sure in the beginning, someone who was trying out the waters between me and a friend. I don't want somebody who would bring in that divisive energy. So my advice is, look, if he wants both of you, it's happened to me with my sisters, because my sisters are attractive ladies, and sometimes men, they don't know which one to choose. I just feel like if you are a grown man and you don't know who you want of the two, and there's nothing that's drawing you particularly to somebody, then you're definitely not for me. You might be for my friend, and I'm quite happy to step back, and I am the sort of person who respects my friend's friendship relationships. I'm the sort of person who would literally disappear from my friend's life just so that she can have a good relationship with that person, because I'm giving in that way. I wouldn't want to be in the way. I when my friends are dating, I take a step back from the relationship to give them an opportunity to build that relationship, and I don't get jealous and you don't spend time with me. I'm not that kind. It's not that kind of party for me, and I expect the same in return. But I would, if you're feeling like you have to choose between her and her, if a guy's playing that game, I would never fall out with my friend over that. I would be like, look, over to you, okay? Because I don't want that guy anyway. I don't want somebody who's not sure. So when you find yourself in that sort of scenario, girls, you know what to do. Just keep on moving, because it's raining men out there, people. It's raining men. We don't have to fall out over the one out of the billions on the earth, okay? So there are plenty of fish in the sea. Okie dokie, let her have him. And if you are in a good friendship, she will feel the same way. For me, he can't have either of us, because you can't choose. You don't get to have either of us. But sometimes maybe she's just feeling it a bit more. And even if I really, really like that guy, the fact that I'm not your number one choice, that's an issue for me. And probably always will be. I like the idea of being the first choice. So that's from me to you guys. If you find yourself in that scenario, maybe you want to do it Chengi's way, maybe you want to do it some kind of way. I'm not saying there's a right way or a wrong way, but I'm just saying, if you're confused, you got to keep it moving and find somebody who really thinks that the sun shines from your behind. Okay, take care of yourself. Thank you so much for watching. Love you lots. Bye bye.